welcome to Policy and Politics with me, Tarun Nangia. Today we have a special show and a special guest. We have with us Injeti Srinivas. He's Chairman, International Financial Services Centers Authority, which is IFSCA Authority. And you would all know Mr. Srinivas in his earlier avatar, where he was the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. He was instrumental in rolling out what is now we all know as the IBC, which has been a game changer for corporate India. Also, in a sense, a boon for the banking industry, and also for people at large, because they benefit when there is a continuity in running of the factories. So that's one big thing that you already know him for. But what is the next big thing that he's been tasked with now? We are all very interested to know that. And that's how we have him here on Policy and Politics. And in the course of the program, we shall know what is the next big thing that he's going to do for India. And I also have with me Advocate Anurup Oomkar, who is a managing partner with AK and Partners and also a consultant to the World Bank. I would like to welcome Mr. Injeti Srinivas for sharing his time with us today. We know he has a bit of a busy schedule, but he's kindly consented to be on the show. We thank him for that. I would also like to thank Anurup for sparing his time for today's show. So, because this is something which we don't know about the IFSCA. Sir, could you, in about a minute or two, share with the people of India and people watching you, what is this about? What are you trying to do here?
So, I mean, this is a very important initiative of the Government of India. As you would all agree, the financial services forms the lifeblood of any economic activity. And in today's globalized world, you have global capital flows, which trigger development. So for a country like India, which is the 5th largest GDP and 3rd largest in terms of purchasing power parity, we require a lot of funds, much beyond what we are able to save and provide to for our economic growth. So in order to attract global capital into India, you need a very strong financial platform. And that is what the IFSCA at one level intends to do. That means you make the IFSC a dominant gateway for global capital flows into and out of India. This is one task before it. The other task goes a little beyond this. It transcends this, where beyond the connection with India, you want to have a world-class jurisdiction which is amenable and a preferred destination for all global investors to do their financial transactions and avail of financial services. So any company anywhere in the world, if it wants to raise capital, it can come list in the exchange here.
Yes.
So that is something like, let us say now Hong Kong, its market capitalization, is about 3 trillion, or Singapore, So these countries have, these financial centers have emerged as regional or global financial centers. We don't have. China has 5 of them. Okay. So Hong Kong is there, Shanghai is there, Shenzhen is there. Like that, they have many others which are emerging. So it was felt that a country of India's size and economy, it is imperative to have a internationally competitive financial center. In short,
are you the regulator of regulators in that sense?
So before I come to the regulation part, I would say one thing, just to put it in some clarity. Typically, if you are familiar with let us say, international airport concept, there is a city side to an airport, which is the domestic area. And there's an air side to an airport, which is the international area. So it is something like that. This is the international India, and you have the domestic India. So you have the BSE and NSE, which are the stock exchanges in domestic India. Here you have INX and the NSE, international exchange, which are the stock exchanges here. So this is treated as an international jurisdiction.
Okay.
So that is the USP. That is the unique feature here, and we are having a single unified regulator who has been vested with the powers of the Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, IRDA, and PFRDA. So 4-in-1 regulator. You are empowered under 14 different enactments where you discharge their powers insofar as the financial services in the IFSC are concerned.
Okay. That's very interesting to know. I'll go to Anurup. Anurup, we heard that in addition to being a lawyer, you've been mentoring a policy think tank, and that is one of your initiatives. That is why this question to you: what is GIFT emerging as for India? You see it from a consultant, lawyer, policymaker's perspective, or people who studies this. What is this emerging as? Could you share with us?
See, Tarun, I see it as emerging for, the banking and finance industry and fintech industry in particular. Like, it was unimaginable when we read the news. Within 2 to 3 months, HSBC has already set up a branch. They have got an approval and stuff like that. So given that, as Injeti sir rightly pointed out, it is a global jurisdiction within a domestic jurisdiction. So even in the finance world, it's no more that you will have lenders coming to your doorstep to offer you loan. Everything runs through a technology and a fintech medium. So I see Gift City as one of that hub. For example, the globe is talking about centralized digital currency. So in implementation of a centralized digital currency at a national level like India may be a big challenge from cyber threat, from siphoning of funds issue. But given as IFSC, it can be experimented there. So you can say it in coming future, it will become the heart and soul or the center spot for all kind of innovation in the field of banking, finance, insurance, regtech, fintech, and stuff like that. So this is the new practice area also for lawyers and financial analysts, because it has to be imagined at a global level, running within the domestic territory. As sir rightly pointed out, he is vested with the powers of different regulators. So we have to look at this place as a unique hub for global growth within India.
Okay, pretty interesting. I'll go to Mr. Srinivas. Sir, I may want to know from you that you set up a committee for the development of the global retail business. Now, in line with your vision for the IFSCA at Gift City, what are some of the targets that you have set for yourself for this initiative?
So two things. We did set up a committee under Mr. Pradeep Shah to make recommendations on how to expand the business of insurance and banking in the GIFT IFSC by also allowing retailization. So by allowing retail clients also to do business. As of now, only institutional entities are allowed to do banking activities in the IFSC. So I think they have strongly recommended. See, what happens is that typically there is some sort of hesitation in allowing retail, because if very small retail depositors come to you and open small accounts, etc., and then the bank has some financial stress, and then you find that there is some stress, and therefore the asset liability mismatch, it becomes a huge concern. So typically from a regulatory angle, you would feel that it's better to have big institutional clients rather than having small depositors come to you. Because if small depositors come, the regulatory challenge is more, because you need to protect their interests. If you need to protect their interests, you have to make regulations more and more stringent. If you make regulations more and more stringent, then it stifles innovation. Okay. And if you don't have innovation, then it hits efficiency and inclusiveness. So it's a very complex, sort of equation. And what you really need to do is, you need to strike a healthy balance between regulation and innovation. So what we really sort of visualize is that yes, India has one of the largest economies. India has 30 million strong Indian diaspora with a combined, net worth of around 3 trillion USD. We need to leverage both of this. Okay, Singapore, for example, doesn't have a 3 trillion domestic economy. Singapore does not have a 30 million diaspora. We have it. So how do we take advantage of this, but at the same time, we don't create any financial crisis. We do not carry any contagion effect to the domestic India. So what we have said is that we will be more than willing to look at retail investors who have a net worth of 1 million USD or more. So a person who has a 1 million USD or more net worth is considered to be a person who knows how to manage his or her finances. Okay, so they would study all the risks and then they would, have a deposit or anything. Once you allow the bank to have retail deposits, it's very cheap mobilization of funds. Otherwise, when they borrow, it's much costlier. So by doing this, and today in digital banking, it doesn't matter, you may be in the US, but if you get a 0.25% interest more, you can put your deposit here in GIFT IFSC. And an Indian would feel that, okay, it's an emotional connect, I'm also helping India. Okay, I'm helping India, I'm not losing anything. So no problems. And you have an international, regulatory framework, everything is safe. So that is one aspect of it. So this is one area we are looking at. Similarly, in the business of insurance and reinsurance also, there are unimaginable opportunities which are available. Let me tell you, today you travel abroad. Okay, it's very easy. You go and have your family insured for maybe 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees. It doesn't cost you much. Suppose this wasn't there, this fintech was not there. You were going to the United Kingdom and you want to take the insurance for your family in the UK. Imagine how expensive it would have been. So now there are many other areas where you can actually, with the help of FinServe, you can make products accessible and much cheaper, for Indians or people of Indian origin, etc. If you want to focus on that segment. So suppose I go abroad and I want to hire a car, I want to rent a car. So when I go to the rent-a-car, outlet, that chap will give me the car, he will charge a rent, and he'll also sell me an insurance along with the, rental. And that would be typically provided by a foreign insurer, which will again be very expensive. Now, if in GIFT we can develop those products, then, we can buy this insurance from this guy here. All right. So this is just by way of an example I'm saying. So there are huge possibilities, and you can also have very much like tailor-made, solutions. I'll give you one large example. Today, green finance is the most popular, funding available. In the sense, all global investors want to invest in green projects. They want a sustainable, world, sustainable finance. They don't want, the climate change to become more and more, a challenge for the globe. Now, India with such a large economy and with a requirement of 1.5 trillion over the next 5 years, 1.5 trillion USD over the next 5 years for the infrastructure, can be the biggest recipient of green finance. But for green finance to come, you need fintech. You need technology and finance to be put together to project which are the gold standard green projects which are available for international investors. So this is something we actually visualize, that green finance and social impact capital and fintech, we want to make these and also making it a hub for alternative investment funds. We want these to be the priority areas for the IFSC.
Okay. Anurup, the Dubai International Financial Center introduced the world's first blockchain court, in a sense where you could go and adjudicate. Mauritius also has a sandbox license policy to foster technology-based innovation. Now, IFSC has also launched something on those lines, which is called the Framework of Regulatory Sandbox. What is the role of, in a sense, artificial intelligence in all of this? And how can IFSC bank can benefit from it for India?
See, Tarun, as sir rightly pointed out, fintechs these days are slowly becoming a part and parcel of the banking system, which they in a fancy way call it the neo banking. So those days are gone when manual paper review is to happen to assess your credit worthiness. So what happens in such cases, artificial intelligence technique is used, which is, partially as good as a human, given few data points, given few documents about you, which may be a tax return, which may be a last 6 months batch statement, or it may be, 5 years old, what all loan are running, it will be able to predict whether you would become insolvent or you would continue to be solvent. Based on that, they have started lending loans to people. So given this, it is a very important part, because when you are wanting to integrate at an international level, we need to look at things from a Revolut point of view. Revolut, is a very prominent company out there in UK. It's a very big fintech. So India, or rather say IFSC, has to be at that level. So given at that level, we need smart contracts policies coming in. We can't, in the domestic arena, it's a talk. In IFSC, because it is at an early stage, smart contracts should become reality. Smart code should become reality. If you look at the legal system now, it's more physical and technology is complementary. But for IFSCB to a global corridor, technology has to be paramount, physical should be complementary. That is where India or IFSC has head to, so that in a way we become a competitor to the already existing, because as you may be aware, there are already 80 to 90 IFCs globally. It's not a fairly new concept across the globe. It possibly is a new concept in India. So when it's a new concept, we have to work as a competitor as well as a complementary service to other existing IFSCs.
That's a fair point. I'll go to Mr. Srinivas for one final question. Sir, I want to know from you that UK and India have recently agreed to a strategic collaboration for the development of Gujarat International FinTech City. Now, how do you believe that strategic partnerships with UK, which is already regarded as a financial hub, help IFSCA?
So look, I mean, that's a very relevant question. New York and London, these are the largest international financial centers, traditionally and naturally. These are very strong economies, and they are the largest. And both, in a way, they have full capital account convertibility. In the sense, there is no zone as such. The regulator is regulating the whole of United Kingdom. Whereas here, because we don't have full capital account convertibility, only for this zone, we are having full capital account convertibility, and IFSCA is the regulator. There are 3-4 areas which have been identified for our collaboration and partnership with UK. One good thing about financial centers are we compete. You will compete for global capital, but you also need to cooperate with each other. If you do not cooperate, you can't sustain. So this is the basis on which we always look forward to partnership. So 1 or 2 major developments which are taking place in GIFT IFSC, for example, make UK very interested in a strong, sustainable partnership with us. And that is, we'll be opening the first, international bullion exchange with both spot trading and derivative trading in gold and other precious metals.
That will be in this GIFT city.
Yeah. So already the regulations have been notified, and this is a very major development. It's a major development because India accounts for, India is the second largest consumer of gold. And, almost 25% of the gold in the world, which is an annual movement, that import, etc., India does. It imports close to 800 million tons of gold. And it is the second largest item, of foreign exchange expenditure for India. It's the second largest import item. So once you have this international gold exchange, and if all the gold which India imports is channelized through this exchange, then what happens is we become a price setter for gold. We don't just become a passive player of, taking the price. We set the price for gold because we have that sort of strength. We account for 25% of gold consumption in the world. We are a major country. So this gold exchange, I mean, it's a bullion exchange. It will be in a way a game changer. This is one major area we are looking at. Fintech is another area we are looking at because in India you have the financial talent, you have the huge startup ecosystem, you have the demand. Okay, you have all the components, and now you have a regulator also, and like we have a regulatory sandbox. SEBI also has a regulatory sandbox. We need to really nurture this, innovation. Now, in this area, whether it is Singapore or whether it is UK, they would like to have a strong collaboration, between the fintech hubs. That means if there is somebody from UK wanting to come here and innovate, they will refer them to us, and vice versa. If somebody from here sees a good business opportunity in setting up a fintech company in the UK and serving the market in UK, you can go there. Let me give you one small example for 2 minutes.
That's an interesting thing you shared with us. On this note, we'll end the part 1 of this show. Okay. And we would thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time for today's show. Anurup, thank you to you as well for sparing your time. And of course, in the part 2, we will definitely like to revisit some of the points that you mentioned today, especially on the gold exchange, because I think India continues to be and will be one of the largest buyers of gold because it's a psychological habit also for Indians historically. Thank you both of you for being on Policy and Politics.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.